Hello everybody, Styx here at the Token Minorities, bringing you another deck on Pokemon TCGO, and now that I actually have my channel back, some guy posted randomly on Monday, sorry about that, I am bringing you a deck featured around Luxray Break from Breakpoint, and before I get into the deck, if you like this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe, it really helps us out. And on to the deck. Like I said, this is centered around Luxray Break, 170 HP, electric with Wild Fury. Flip a coin until you get tails. This attack does 40 more damage for each heads, and with a base of 130, that looks really powerful, right? Actually, I'll be honest, Luxray Break is completely outclassed by Raichu Break. I mean, it has almost nothing over it, and this deck is not very good in my opinion, just because I mean it requires so much setup and you're relying on a stage 3 to attack, so there's a ton of cards that you need, and really you kind of need more than a 60 card deck, but I did what I could with this, and here is the result. I hope that it can somewhat work out at least. With the Pokemon line, we are running a 2-1-2 of Magnemite, Magneton, Magnezone for the Magnetic Circuit. Luxray Break does have a pretty expensive attack, because it costs 2 electric and a DCE, so you really don't want to have to spend 3 turns powering it up manually, otherwise you will just be way behind and pretty much unrecoverable. So I mean that's why Magnezone's there, to get all the electric energy onto Luxray, and even our one other attacker, Raikou, with the Thunder Lance. I mean really Raiku's just there for stalling, having a backup attacker, something that I can use while I'm waiting to get a Luxray into play. So that's why Raiku's there. And then I'm running a 3-2-3-3 line of the Luxray and Luxio and Shinx line, I mean all that. And there's 11 cards here alone, so I mean that's over half of our Pokemon just in the main attacker, and I'm not even running full sets of each. So I mean that's why this deck is completely outclassed by Raichu Break, just because I mean it has an attack that is the equivalent of heads, so I mean really 50% of the time you're going to be hitting for what Raichu Break does, and Raichu Break is one less evolution, it has free retreat, I mean it really is just better. But I mean Luxray, I mean if you get 2 heads, hey, you're knocking out an EX, so I mean that's what we're going to try to base our strategy around. And then we also have a 2-2 of Remoraid and Octillery, just because I don't have room in this deck for a ton of draw support, and I really don't have any room for Shaman at all, so I just have to have consistent draw, so I mean that's why I went with Octillery on this. As for the items, we are running very thin items. Running 2 Level Ball to get, I mean really just all the basics out, except for Raikou, because you obviously can't get that. 1 Professor's Letter to get some electric energy to put onto our 2 attackers. 3 Rare Candy, I mean that's a very heavy line of Rare Candy, but I mean we were running a total of 5 stage 2s in this deck, so I mean you really need to get, you're usually going to get a Rare Candy for a Magnezone, and then you can Rare Candy for a Luxray, and probably Rare Candy for 2, so I mean that's why we're running so many of those. 1 Super Rod just to get some stuff back into our deck, 1 Switch in case our opponent Lysander's in a Magnezone so we aren't just stuck, 3 Ultra Ball, I would like to run 4, but there just wasn't room in the deck for it, 4 VS Seeker just to get everything back, 1 Bridget to get our basics out, and Bridget's great early on. I mean you can get you can get Shinxes and Magnemites and Raikous. I mean basically you can get everything that you want out just with a supporter. 1 Lysander, I mean I would run 2, but you should be hitting for enough theoretically, so you won't have to worry about Lysander necessarily. Only 2-3 of Birch and Sycamore, just because we have the Remoraid and Octillery. Those 2 are going to be the main ones we rely on for the draw support. 1 Skyla, actually that's not Skyla, I'm sorry, it is Fan Service. We were running 1 Fan Service just to get like rare candies more than likely. I mean I think the only time I will be looking for Fan Service is either for a rare candy or a trick coin. And then a Wally, I mean Wally is great in this deck because we're running so many evolutions. As for the stadiums, we're running 2 Rough Seas. I want to run 3, but again there is just not enough room in the deck. For the items, we are only running, or the tools, we are running Trick Coin, and that is going to be the strategy with Luxray Break. Once during your turn, after you flip any coins for an attack of the Pokemon this card is attached to, you may ignore all. It basically just lets you flip the coin again. So I mean, really Luxray, you get a 75% chance of hitting for 170, which knocks out a bunch of EXs, which is pretty great. But I mean, you really have to hit for 180. 180 is a magic number. Like, if this was base 140, then I think Luxray Break would be a little bit better. But in order to knock out 180s, you have to get 2 heads or 1 head in a muscle band. But I mean, then that's a 50% chance, and that's just not really worth it in my opinion. Energy, we are running 2 DCE and 8 electric energy. Again, I would like to run more to get full advantage of magnetic circuit, but there just was not room in this deck. I mean, this deck really just tries to do way too much. I don't think it's very good. I've played with it a couple times. I've gotten fully set up only a few. I mean, this is just very much outclassed by Raichu Break, but you know what? It is a new break card, and screw it, we are going to do a live with it. And yeah, let's just go ahead and see this deck in action. Alrighty, we have found one against a Gav TCG Cafe with a water and fire deck. So I mean, that should be pretty interesting. Hopefully it's something non-standard. That way we actually have a chance. And we do win the coin flip, so that is great for us. Yes, we would like to go first. Hopefully we get something that we can work with. And you know what? I think I can work with this. Yeah, let's start with a Raikou there. Put a Magnemite there. And, could be a lot worse. Oh, we even see the Crushing Hammer. Oh no. Ugh, Crushing Hammer decks. I hate these type of decks. I mean, especially with my type of deck that takes so long to power up. I mean, you really do need every single turn that you can possibly get. So seeing a Crushing Hammer is just kind of a crushing blow to the soul, really. And oh, we get nothing off of it. We do get a Shinx. Could be worse. Could be a lot worse. I'm gonna go ahead and play the energy, the double colorless onto the Shinx on the bench. Go for a Birch's Observations. Hopefully get heads. Nope, we get tails. And we get nothing we can work with. Alright, so if I can get a rare candy this turn, then I can evolve the Magnemite and go attach an energy to the Raikou and go for a Birch's Observations again and hopefully get heads. So I mean, we're not in too horrible of a position, I suppose. If my opponent has to stall a little bit, then we are in a great position. So he does. Okay, so hopefully he gets tails as well. Yes. So okay, we have a chance. We have a chance if my opponent has to start slow. So it's like a Regice and so that's weird. Let's go ahead and attach this to the Raikou. I think I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, I have to Birch's Observations, pray for a heads. Let's go for that. Please give me heads. Nope, we get tails, and we will like it. And we get another Magnemite. So, I mean, we'll be able to attack next turn, I guess. That's something, because I have a DCE in hand. Yeah, I mean, I end up, even though I only run 2 Birch's Observations in this entire deck, I end up with that card way more often than I think I should. We do see an Ultra Ball. For a Delphox, he must have Rare Candy in his hand or something. Yep, he has Rare Candy Delphox, so he will be able to draw 6 cards, and oh boy. Yeah, that was a phenomenal start from my opponent. Hopefully we can bounce back with something. I mean, we got horribly unlucky with Birch twice, and that for a deck based around coin flips, I mean, we need coin flip luck. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what my opponent does. He's going to go for probably a Resistance Blizzard this turn. Hopefully get tails again. Yep. Okay. So, I mean, we have somewhat of a shot. I need a Sycamore or something like that. Like, I really just need something to be able to attack. And, okay, we see the Resistance Blizzard does 90. I get a Skyla. What I am probably going to just do is Skyla for, I hate to do this, but Skyla for a Sycamore. And then I can hit the Regice with a Thunder Lance this turn, but it won't. I mean, it'll be a 2-hit KO, but that doesn't really matter because I do just have to really wait on what else I can draw. I'm gonna send up probably the Shinx or a Magnemite. Actually, I'll probably send up a Magnemite because even though he has Silent Lab in play, I would rather a Magnemite go down than have to let my Shinx die. And my opponent goes for Professor Birch's, and yeah, no heads for anybody on Birch's observations this game. I mean, he does have the Mystical Fire, so he will be able to get 2 more cards off that. So it's, I mean, it doesn't mean as much to him. Meant a lot to me. We do see a Crushing Hammer and Tails. Wow, everybody is getting Tails this game. Alright, the Raikou does go down. My opponent will be able to take a prize. I will send in the Magnemite right now. And, okay, so I'll attach this here, go for a Professor Sycamore. Hopefully get something I can work with. And I do get a rare candy into a Luxray, and I will be able to get a Luxray break next turn. Put a Trick Coin right there. And yeah. Okay, so I will just end my turn right there. Hopefully my opponent doesn't get anything else down. Hopefully he doesn't have another Crushing Hammer, because that would make, or he doesn't get heads on a Crushing Hammer, because right now that is what I am relying on completely. And he is able to power up another Regice in the background. Luckily we don't have a weakness to it, so I mean that's something that's nice, at least. My opponent's probably... Okay, he has a Wally. Going to go ahead and get a Braixen, and then go for a Mystical Fire, more than likely. Starling Megaphone gets rid of my Trick Coin. It doesn't... I don't think it matters much in this matchup, except for Delphox. But that's not too huge of an issue, just because it looks like Regice are his only attackers. And, okay, he just thins his deck a little bit, gets some more energy, and he will be able to take another prize this turn, but I will be able to knock that thing out next turn with... Okay, so it's a Seismitoad deck. Huh. Well, I mean, hopefully he doesn't get that thing powered up and we won't have to worry about it. He just goes for a stall tactic. And, alright, so we will be able to play this here. Go ahead and evolve. Go for a... Oh, okay, he misclicked. I was about to say. Go for a Sycamore. Hopefully get something we can work with. Rough Seas would even be fine. Yeah, that works too. Let's go ahead and do that. Play this here. Go ahead and Rough Seas off the Magnemite. Go ahead and get... I think I'll want a Skyla for next turn. It really depends. And then let's retreat into Luxray Break and go for a Wild Fury. It doesn't matter. Okay, we just get Tails immediately, but that is okay because we knock out the Regice and we will finally be able to take a prize, and it's a switch. Okay. I mean, we're doing something, I guess. Although what is nice is next turn, even if he does paralyze me, I will be able to just use the switch, go out into a Magnemite, have free treat back into Luxray, and I think my... Okay, so I do still have another Magnezone in my deck. So we do have a Silent Lab. My opponent does grab Silent Lab. Okay, that's fine. Alrighty, gets rid of that. Then that changes what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to go for a Professor Birch's... Or not a Professor Birch's Observations, a Sycamore, and my opponent gets Tails again, so that is very unfortunate for him. As I'm going to go ahead and evolve this. Skyla for, I think, a rare candy if I have it. Yes, I do have it. What else do I have in my deck? I have one more Rough Seas. I think I will wait on that a little bit. Go ahead and rare candy up this Magnemite. Go for that. And then go for another Wild... Yeah, let's go for a Wild Fury. Get Tails again. Looks like everybody gets Tails today. And we actually take the lead in a game. Oh my goodness. And we get another Electric Energy. So I can Magnetic Circuit next turn. Hopefully I will be able to draw into something else. How much Lightning Energy do I have on my discard pile? I have 3. So I have 2 more in my deck. And, okay, so we do see the DCE right there. This is actually a very interesting deck. He's going to Lysander in the Magnezone. Okay, and then Mystical Fire. That is just fine, I think. Maybe. It might not be. I might just have to retreat the Magnezone manually. So let's go ahead and use Magnetic Circuit to attach this onto the Magnezone. Let's go ahead and Professor Sycamore. Hopefully get, okay, nothing. We get this, we get Noctillery, that way we can draw more cards. Let's go ahead and play the Rough Seas, play another Shinx, go for an Abyssal Hand. We get another Magnezone, so let's go ahead and just heal up those guys and end the turn right there. My opponent will be able to stall me, unfortunately. But if I can, because I mean, Seismitoad really just kind of stops this dead, and my opponent just seems to continue to have Silent Labs to stop me in my tracks. But, alright, we're probably just going to see another Quaking Punch. Sorry about that, had to cough really quick, and alright, my opponent gets a second Delphox going. So, I mean, this is a very unconventional deck, but, I mean, he was able to really just kind of put me in a bad position by being able to Lysander in my Magnezone and just kind of stop it in its tracks. And then, of course, I end up with a hand where I can't really do anything about it. What I might try to do is Lysander in a Delphox to, like, buy myself a turn or something like that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that to maybe buy myself a turn of items and then end the turn there. And then hopefully I'll be able to get Magnezone out of the active. Unfortunately, I had to burn my Switch, and, well, I didn't have to burn it, I had to get rid of it, just because my opponent was, had me on item lock on the turn that I needed to use the Switch, so that was a bit unfortunate right there. If I can somehow get Magnezone... Actually, I might just start attacking with Magnezone, maybe. Hopefully get it knocked out, just because, I mean, Magnezone's the thing that is going to put me in a bad position. I'm running a little low on my deck, so that's something to keep in mind. My opponent is running lower, actually, just because he keeps drawing, and hopefully I will be able to stall him out. I mean, that's kind of what I think I have to go for right now. But hopefully that turn of Lysandering in the Delphox did buy me a turn of items. So he does Zero Sick, get rid of the DCE. And, okay, so I think we actually managed to stall him for a turn. So let's just go ahead and do that, play that there. I think I'm going to level ball for a Luxio. I don't want to get my deck too low. And then I think I'm going to play that there and probably just end my turn, because I think, I hate to do this, but I think I honestly just have to, like, wear my opponent down, like, kind of just play it out. He does VS Seeker. Wonder what he's going to grab. Grabs a Birch's Observations, probably to try to put cards back into his deck. This is where I hope he gets heads, that way he has to draw more cards and speed up. Alright, he does get heads on this. Okay, so he does have the switch into the Seismitoad. Do I have any... Okay, I already used up my one Lysander, so that is unfortunate. My opponent is able to power up the other Seismitoad on the bench, and we will... Okay, so I have another Luxray. I'm just going to evolve that, and I think I'm going to Abyssal Hand, see if I can get something. Get a Bridget, can't use it, that's fine. I think actually we might be able to... I don't think there's a way my opponent can take all 5 remaining of his prizes before he runs out of cards in his deck. So he does just Quaking Punch again, keep the lock going. He will be down to 4 cards next turn. I have a Wally. I don't know if that'll be of use. You know what? Screw it. Let's play a Wally. Get another Luxray breakout. I mean, this is not the way the deck is supposed to work, but I mean, if you do what you have to. You do what you have to make it through. And my opponent is down to 4 cards. He will be able to knock out the Magnezone this turn. What I will do is just send out my Luxray break and just hopefully take some hits. I have to go for the deck out at this point. he was able to keep me from going for my initial strategy, so I had to switch up strategies mid-battle. And alright, we do see the Quaking Punch. He will be able to take a card. I don't know if there's necessarily anything else he can do. He has 1 VS Seeker used. Let's see, he's only used 2 VS Seekers, so that's something. But what I can do is... can't really do anything. And then... I guess if I had another energy, I could have done something, but I'll just end the turn right there. Luxray Break will have to take a couple hits. If he has a Birch's Observations, he will be able to stall the inevitable a little bit. But this will be a 4-hit KO on Luxray, and even if he like just gets perfect Birches, I don't think there's any way he can stall out necessarily. I think... yeah, that's it. I can't do anything. So if I had 2 energy on this Luxray, then I would be able to Fang Snipe and start getting rid of trainer cards that he could use to potentially save the game. But I'm hoping that... I mean, really, I just have to hope that he doesn't have Birch or something like that, or he doesn't have another VS Seeker in his hand, which, I mean, he probably does, and he probably realizes what I have to try to do at this point. So he does just Lysander in. Okay, he goes for this Luxray. Getting some damage off on him. I will be able to... I'll be able to bite for 2 damage. But that doesn't really do anything. Go for a bite for 50. My opponent will be down to 1 card next turn. He's probably going to go for the Birch this turn or next turn. If we do see a Birch's Observations next turn, then I mean, I pretty much just have to forfeit the game just because there's no way I can win. Alrighty, and I'm just going to go for a bite, and if we see Birch's Observations, that'll be it. But otherwise, I don't know. If he has a VS Seeker in his hand, he can go for a Birch's Observations and then end it like that. But alright, we actually pull it out. We won. Just because my opponent decked out. I mean, that's not how this deck is supposed to work. But I mean, if you win, you take it, and that's all you can do. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much from this deck at all, just because it's very slow. It takes forever to set up, and I mean, your opponent can throw you off. I mean, really, you just have to have a perfect setup to get this deck to work. So, I mean, like, I wanted to try it. I saw Luxray Break. I liked its attack, but it just takes a little bit too much. So, I mean, if you want to try it, be my guest. I doubt this is the best deck list, but I mean, if it is, then that's just unfortunate for Luxray. But anyway, that is the deck, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.